For amateurs of classic cars, this event is not to be missed. At the end of April, the Tour Auto Optique 2000 starts in Paris to travel across France during a whole week, much to the pleasure of the competitors and the thousands of fans along the 2,500-kilometer-long itinerary. The glass dome of the Grand Palais hosts the 240 competitors during the scrutineering for this year's edition. For the Parisian fans, it is an excellent opportunity to come and admire these dream cars and maybe discover some rare machines. During this 28th edition, some British makes that no longer exist were put into the spotlights. Austin Healey, AC, Triumph, but also lesser-known manufacturers like Frazer-Nash and this 1959 Le Mans Coupe. During the Le Mans 24 hours, it won its class and finished 13th overall. Or this very rare Jowett Jupiter. These cars either have won plenty of races or have a prestigious history, like this 1953 Sunbeam Alpine.
It was one of 3 rally cars that were built and driven actually by 2 Formula One British drivers. This one was driven by Peter Collins in the Coupe des Alpes in 1953, and the other sister car was driven by John Surtees. And there's only 4 of these cars sort of in existence. So a very famous car. It's a 4-cylinder, 2.2 engine, and it goes really well, 96 horsepower. Stand on the brakes to stop it, an absolute pleasure to drive.
3 war cars and machines built up until 1973 all will travel across France, passing the cities of Dijon, Lyon, Vichy, Tours towards the finish line in Deauville. Tuesday, 6 a.m. Traces of the short night are still clearly visible, but things have to get going. In 1 hour's time, all cars leave the Grand Palais for a short trip through Paris, avoiding traffic jams towards Vaux-le-Vicomte, where the official start of the Tour Auto Optique 2000 will take place. And even though it's still pretty frisky in the morning, there is a big crowd in the gardens of Nicolas Fouquet's house.
C'est des voitures qui nous ont fait rêver quand on était gamin.
These were the cars of our dreams when we were kids, and here we can almost touch them. It's a bit of nostalgia, and these are cars as cars should be. I would love to have a traffic jam like this every day. Here in Vaux-le-Vicomte, we meet up with the most candid of teams of this year's edition. Olivier and Philippe decided to participate in the Tour Auto Optique 2000, but the least we can say is that they did not have the best of preparations.
Ouais, non, c'est une grande découverte.
Yes, exactly. This is all new for us. We do not even have a stopwatch, and we lack plenty of instruments, but okay, that's a part of the adventure.
L'aventure.
L'aventure, voilà. On va vous dire ça, espérant que tout se passe bien.
When we hired a car, we did not realize it was a right-hand drive and that the odometer is in miles, not kilometers. I think we will have plenty of calculations to do. And this is where the race starts that everybody has waited a whole year for.
It's the best race of the whole year for me. Very, very nice. The mixture of beautiful French roads, the autodromes, the circuits, the stages, it's a very, very good mix. Very, very nice.
But for some, it all starts very badly. Ludovic Caron, double winner of the event, retires after only a couple of kilometers. We had a radiator problem in the stage, and as happens so often with this kind of problem, the engine ran hot and we lost the head gasket.
On a fait un joint de culasse.
For Philippe Van Drome, another former winner of the Tour, things did not go well either.
Et ben voilà, première journée.
So here we are, first day, and we did how many kilometers? No, we did 100 meters, and then the transmission gave way. We will now try to change the gearbox before we made it out of the stage, and we will see this evening if we can make it to Dijon, but for the standings, this is not a good beginning. The first stage is always a difficult moment for the drivers. They have to get back into the rhythm without losing too much time. For some, this first stage was also a first taste of a new car. Take Nicolas Leroy-Fleuriot, for example. He's driving this gorgeous BMW M1 Pro car for the first time, a monster with 450 horsepower for 1100 kilograms. Another monster is this Ligier JS2 prototype, driven by John of B. The engine of this beast is nothing less than a Ford Formula 1 engine, and this car won this event in 1974 with Jean-Pierre Nicolas and Gérard Larousse at the wheel. These two cars were designed for circuit racing but were adapted to the open road, so they could participate in the Tour Auto. On small country roads, however, they remain a handful.
Gros gauche qui enroule. T'as vu? Ouais.
Talking of circuits, the competitors all had a go at the Dijon-Prenois track for some group races. For these cars not only race on the special stages, they also compete on different tracks. This is what makes the Tour Auto such a unique event, and it remains true to the tradition of the original Tour de France automobile. For between 1906 and 1986, competitors raced with then modern machinery on both closed roads and circuits. The winners list has legendary names like Mérès, Bianchi, Beltoise, Depailler, Munari or Ragnotti, just to mention a few. In 1989, the modern version disappeared off the calendar before Patrick Peter and his team had the excellent idea to revive the event in 1992, but this time reserved for classic cars. And talking of legends, this one had his first taste of the Tour Auto. 4 times F1 world champion Alain Prost was invited to participate in the Dijon-Lyon stage, together with son Nicolas, and the Frenchman was truly impressed. When you see all these enthusiastic fans standing on the side of the roads, cheering on all the cars, in a country that has become a bit car-phobic recently, then you know there exists a real connection. These are beautiful objects that not only represent the history of car racing, but also of the automobile industry. I like it very much. There are 2 categories in the Tour Auto Optique 2000, competition and regularity. In regularity, the aim is not to go as quickly as possible, but a driver has to respect a certain average speed. Teams can choose between 3 average speeds and then have to try to get as close as possible to that average on both the special stages and the circuits, following a very precise timetable.
Tous les 200 mètres, ça correspond à un temps précis au chrono.
Every 200 meters we get an exact time on the stopwatch, so the co-driver, stopwatch in hand, has to give the driver the times. 0.4 here, and there you have to be at 0.6, these things. He's told constantly whether he's ahead or behind the average speed, and it really comes down to a second. We have to adapt our speeds all the time. However, it is not allowed to use other tools than the mechanical odometer of the car and a stopwatch with hands. This is a so-called stopwatch rattrapante. So, for example, when on a circuit we pass at 2 minutes 5, we block the stopwatch, we start the hand, and at the end of the second lap, we know we have to pass the line at 2 minutes 5. Regularity has some real specialists, often French or Belgian teams, but since a couple of years a gang of joyous Argentinian drivers are fighting for the win as well. During 5 days, Hinrichsen, Oxenford and Zuccari were at it hammer and tongs to try and respect the average speed on all stages and tracks. It was a close battle, but the surprise came at the end when a French-British pairing pipped them all. Eric Camignot and Edouard Lothy were very discreet and efficient in their Ferrari 250 GT Lusso to take the win in the regularity division. Our rookie duo in the Jaguar drive the Tour Auto at their own speed and complete the stages without any major issues. The second stage ends in Lyon on May 1st amidst an incredible crowd, all admiring the gorgeous cars. And when the road opener arrives at the Parc Gerland, the fans go wild. Even though he took his World Rally title 38 years ago, Ari Vatanen is still immensely popular. If there would be a contest for the most unique livery, this would certainly be the winner. During the 1973 Tour Auto, this Porsche 911 RSR was promoting a feature-length movie, Le Grand Bazar, with French comedians Les Charlots. A real head-turner. On the circuits, one tends to forget that this is a classic car, a museum piece even. And if it were a painting, it would be a beautiful painting. So I'm lucky enough to drive a painting. Porsche cars are certainly very reliable, but sometimes they are treated a bit roughly on the Tour Auto, so they might break down as well.
At the beginning of the stage, we noticed it was only noticeable in the last 10 meters before coming here. It went inch, inch, inch. And we looked underneath and you can see it's detached. So now we're here in this beautiful workshop and the mechanics arrived and they're going to repair it. And I think we are probably out of the race, but we can continue the Tour Auto, and I think that's the most important thing.
And they can continue on day 3 with 3 stages on the schedule and no track action, which is a slight advantage for the overall leader Jean-Pierre Lajournade, who wants to extend his lead on his nearest rivals. The Tour Auto will be decided today for our 3 stages, and I will try to hit hard and retake the advantage on the GT40.
We're going to struggle on the stages. I think the Jaguar in first, they've got 10 seconds a stage on us at the moment. I think our advantage is on the track. We need to push it home on the track, and we just need to keep in contention on the stages today. But it's day 3, so it's not making errors is the biggest issue today.
And as expected, Lajournade extends his lead during the 3rd day, helped by difficult weather conditions and rain on some of the stages. But those conditions are also very helpful for those at the wheel of less powerful but agile cars, like the Lotus Elan 26R. It only has 150 horsepower, but at 560 kilograms, it's a real featherweight, and a true example of the philosophy of Lotus creator Colin Chapman. Damian Koller and Rafael Favaro gain a lot of places and time on these Thursday stages. Since the start of this report, we've talked a lot about prestigious cars, but it is not necessary to own an expensive Ferrari or a rare De Tomaso to participate. You could use a Citroën Traction, a Peugeot 104 or 204, or another popular car. However, all have to be of the same model of a car that participated in the Tour de France before 1973 to be able to enter. This year, Agostino Turuani entered 2 popular cars in a Radio Monte Carlo livery. If you were around during the 70s, these cars will probably ring a bell, and so will the owner, for he is better known under his pseudonym Chin.
Et le musée à l'histoire?
This is my passion. You know, in life, it's better to get lost in a passion than to lose all passion. So this is my life. I have kept all the cars that I have driven, so I own a couple. But this Commodore is an exceptional one. In 1973, it already had 200 horsepower. Almost no brakes, but plenty of power. The car did the Tour de France, but we unfortunately had to retire. But after that, we also did the Monte Carlo and finished 17th overall, and we won Group 1 in the 1975 Tour de Corse. Hard rain and ice-cold temperatures await the competitors during the 4th stage of the Tour Auto Optique 2000. Most of them are a bit apprehensive, for today's roadbook takes them to the Auvergne and the Charade racetrack. It's a little-known and old-school circuit with plenty of height difference. In short, a racing monument that needs to be treated with respect.
I'm
charade laps had to be tackled with courage and bravery and created great memories for all. And then there were still a couple of stages to do, among them the Col de la Croix Saint-Robert, or if you prefer, the hill climb of the Mont d'Or. And then it starts to snow.
Nice snow. A little bit of all kind of weather. Yesterday hot and nice, sunny, and today a little bit of snow. But that's good.
You prefer to drive without a hood? No, we don't have one. That's the way it is. We respect the British and everything they have given us. They have given us this beautiful car, and the minimum we could do is to respect the way they drive it. They never put on the hood, so when it snows, it snows. The winter temperatures cannot stop Olivier and Philippe, who tackled the stages brilliantly, still without a stopwatch on their right-hand drive steering wheel of their tireless XK140. It's on the hill climb of the Mont d'Or that the race is decided. Jean-Pierre Lajournade goes off the road and damages his Jaguar. Ben Gill, another favourite, ended up at the bottom of a ravine. Fortunately without injuries, but his Shelby Cobra was destroyed. Wilson and Williams lose a lot of time as well, and any chance to get a good result. This also means that the smaller engine cars move to the front, and now in the top 5 is this gorgeous 9046 of Jean-Marc and Patricia Bussolini. It wasn't meant to be for the Jaguar GT40 or Cobra drivers this year, and that could only be confirmed by Smith and Cottingham, among the favourites before the start of the rally.
It wasn't supposed to be quite as bright when we saw it on the picture, but it's actually probably worked out quite well because we've broken down so much in this rally now that we're just able to stand in the middle of the road and people can see us.
In the old days, numerous organisers applied the performance index in order to create a larger group of possible winners. A scientific calculation based on the size of the engine gave the smaller cars the opportunity to perform well. The Tour Auto Optique 2000 has installed such a performance index as well. Just like last year, the class win went to Jean-François and Chloé Pénillard. Did you come by bus? Not too bad. There are some great cars here. You should take one of those. Or hitch a ride, there's plenty of them around. Well, see you later. He doesn't even stop a second. Bruno Solo, a French comedian, participated in a couple of stages in an Alfa Romeo, much to the pleasure of his fans, like former Miss France Maëva Cook. She adores the event and was a brilliant co-driver in one of the Peugeot 504 cars. Tours is the last stop of the event. The finish is getting closer and the atmosphere in the town centre is already slightly festive. Le Mans Bugatti Circuit, Saturday, May the 4th. The Tour Auto will be decided on one circuit test and 2 special stages. The candidates are 2 Lotus Elan and 2 Porsche 911s 2-litre, including the one of Gabi van Oppenheim, who made an excellent comeback after previous damper problems. The most important thing is to be at the finish in Deauville this evening. My goal was to be in the top 10, and if we are 2nd, 3rd or 4th this evening, it will be great. It will be an interesting day today, for the gaps are rather small. That means that everything will be decided today. From positions 2 to 4, all could change. But on the other hand, if Raphael doesn't make any mistakes, I think he will win. I'll try to match the cars that are just behind me, just to have a margin on the stages. You never know if it will rain or if they are a bit tricky, and you have to slow down. Anything can still happen. Damien Koller is a circuit driver, and on the Le Mans circuit he goes flat out to try and gain some precious time. As expected, Le Mans does not bring any changes in the order at the front. On the Tour Auto, lunch is always something special, held in exceptional places, castles unknown to the public, or majestic buildings like the wheat market in Alençon, the last break before the last stage and the finish in Deauville. For Jolin and Bucheton, this last stage is only a formality. They end their first Tour Auto without one single problem, plenty of memories, and are very motivated to come back next year. Without a stopwatch and without a highlight and not even a watch with a stopwatch, it was not easy in the beginning. But this was an exceptional experience, and I could share it with one of my best friends. I've discovered crazy circuits and roads which I never knew existed. Didier Sirg and Michel Carrière at the wheel of their De Tomaso Pantera Group 4 were the absolute fastest in this Tour Auto, finishing ahead of the Ligier JS2 of John of B and Sibel. But the Tour Auto regulations stipulate that the overall winner is the car winning the VHC category. So once again it was Raphael Favaro and Yves Badan taking the spoils, with over a minute in hand on Damien Koller and his partner Sylvie Laboine. The Penlae family completes the final podium in Deauville. This year we took it on stubbornness. There were mistakes, mechanical problems, it was wet, then dry again. We did not know what we were driving on. It was complicated, but yes, it's done, and we took it. But we're still sorry for Jean-Pierre, who was a long way ahead. But yeah, we have made some mistakes as well, and even had a contact with another car. But we were lucky. The enthusiasm of the fans, the passion of the drivers and the mechanics, the professionalism of the organizers have once again shown that great classic car events like this one have a fantastic future ahead of them. The automobile heritage is part of our history, the Tour Auto Optique 2000 part of the legend. See you next year for the 29th edition.
Évolution particulière de cette Porsche 300. Licence urbaine en régularité, bravo. Voilà pour cette de Tommaso Pantera, Paul Suran et Franck Joliveau.